Greetings from Snake Mountain Boat Works on Tuesday, December 5, 2023. Rick has made great progress on our 1955 17-foot Chris Craft Sportsman. It hasn't all been love and play, so I'll let Rick give you a feel for what he's gone through to get the bottom off the boat.
Well, we had to start out by trying to get the planks off, which didn't want to come off very easy. So we ended up having to cut sections out and pulling it out that way. And then, of course, you have screws that are left over, so you have to get in there with a pair of vice grips and take every individual screw out
With vice grips.
with vice grips. And it wasn't a fun job, but
And I see even some of them couldn't even do that, so they just cut them off.
yeah, well, they broke. The ones that broke, so we'll have to drill them out and then toothpick them.
So if you remember, this Chris is run in salt water, but her owner has been incredibly attentive. Every time he finishes running her, he pulls her out of the water and washes her completely with fresh water. But that has probably saved the wood from being rotted. It really isn't. The salt water hasn't affected it too much, but it still affected the fasteners. And I think that's what Rick is running into. These old soft brass fasteners just do not stand up to salt water. Of course, the only thing worse than that would have been using stainless steel, and every single one of them would have rotted away. But so where are we, Rick?
Well, I got a little bit left over here on the last plank to the keel. And as you can see, I've been cutting it all out. And before I could do that, I took the ones that I could take out, and then I had to cut all the plywood out, of course.
Right.
And then clean everything up because it was recessed in. So you had to clean all that out. So when we lay the new piece of plywood in, it's all going to be flush. So that's about where we are. Then we've got to see, we got frames we're going to have to fix and repair.
We do have some frames that are split out, right?
Yeah.
Well, she's a 55, so
yeah,
she's 45, 65, 68 years old. That's not surprising. Some of my frames are worn out too.
Yeah, we'll just glue these together, then we'll sister another frame beside it.
Okay.
And then use the 5200 for bonding. And it should make it very, very, very strong.
And if you remember, this model of Chris Craft represented a change in design for Chris Craft. The inner, quote, planking, unquote, what was actually a combination of sheets of plywood. This engine has it says it's a 283, but we are convinced it's a 350 small block that has been, let's say, played with some. And the frames right beneath the engine show the results of that. So we will be strengthening these frames so that they can withstand the force of the engine. But more importantly, rather than just laying sheets of plywood down, we are going to revert to the old school Chris Craft method, which involves still using plywood, but strips of plywood that will be installed at about a 45-degree angle with respect to the transom. That creates a much, much stronger bottom, and that's where we will be going. So before we do that, all this aqua, whatever it is, we need to clean and sand it, and then we will paint everything you see in front of you with Chris Craft Bilge paint that we buy from the Sandusky Paint Company. And we'll get all of that done, having previously anything that's the least bit free of paint will be sealed with 4 coats of clear penetrating epoxy sealer. There's not a lot of point in putting it over paint because it can't really penetrate. But any place where, as we sand these frames, the wood begins to show, will be sealed. So we'll keep working, and we'll be back, or let's say Rick will keep working, and we'll be back to you with an update very soon. That's our update on Tuesday, December 5, 2023. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now from Snake Mountain Boat Works.